Good afternoon.
Good
It's a
afternoon.
miserable Wednesday afternoon here. Hope it's nice there. Welcome to Donna and Cheryl TV. Keeping it real with you for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Talking to you about life lessons, life strategies. And today we want to keep it real and talk about who has got your back.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's really, isn't it?
It is. It's a big subject. And it's funny because we have our own personal experience of this as well, which we'll talk about when we set our business up. But it's really, really important to help with you because we're still on the theme of self-confidence, to surround yourself with people, with cheerleaders, with positive energy. We like to keep it real. So it's okay to give you feedback. However, something that's going to be helpful and useful to progress you on your journey, not to knock you backwards and make you feel like crap.
Yeah. And we want to know from you as you join us, what's your experience of how important it is of having the right people around you? So think about times in your life when you've wanted to create change or you've needed support, or like, who do you turn to? Who are the people that you know you've got your back? And actually, when are the times that you've been quite surprised that you've turned for that kind of support and not found it and have had to go elsewhere or seek it internally? Because it's great, isn't it, Cheryl? It's lovely to have that support around you. And we've always said we are really lucky because we've got each other, have had for donkey's years now, but equally we've got a very close set of very good friends that all bring something different to the party.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we set off on this journey, so, remember, we both worked in corporate, we earned good salaries. We are the breadwinners of our families. So, we have a role, still have a role in our families, but it was, we brought the spondoolie in. So, when we all of a sudden turn around to our husbands and families and the people that love us and say, oh, by the way, we're setting up our own business just out of the blue. To them, it was out of the blue.
Yeah.
They're like, okay. Like some
midlife
of the things,
midlife crisis alert.
But like some of the things that were said with love, like we know that our families and friends love us. And when they made these comments to us starting out from a place of love, because they were worried, stressed, fearful for us, it came from a positive place. However, things like, it's, I don't think your business is going to succeed because you're in a saturated market.
Yeah.
Now, this is coming from family members and friends who haven't ever been a mindset and leadership coach.
Exactly. And some people actually said, like, well, coaches are 10 a penny. Like, coaches are 10 a penny. We were like, are they? Really hadn't met coaches like us, had we? But that came at us.
Yeah.
What about your mortgage? Yeah. Was another one.
How long are you going to give it before you get a job?
Get a proper job again.
That was a proper job. How long are you going to give it before you get a proper job?
Yeah. I remember saying to my mum, I could get a dog now if I wanted to, because guys, I used to work away. I used to literally leave home either a Sunday night, Monday morning. I'd be away 3-4 days a week, every single week, had done for years and years up until Caleb went to school at that point. And I said, I could even get a dog now I'm at home. And my mum said, but you don't know what's going to happen. And it was really like, and quite honestly, like, Cheryl and I have different mindsets. We come from very different places. I always say Cheryl's like my sunshine because she's permanently positive. She's 99.9% positive all of the time. I am what I've always called myself, a pragmatist, but I have quite a fixed mindset sometimes when it comes to change that scares me. And I've had a really fixed mindset about money for a long time, which is something I worked on as I was growing up, so to speak. So when somebody would say that to me, it would really set me off on a bit of a spiral, wouldn't it, some days, Cheryl? Because I'm like, God, am I being reckless? Like, am I risking my mortgages? Am I risking Caleb's financial security as a grown-up? So what about you guys? Have you ever had this experience and really wanting to do something and you've shared it? Maybe it's before you were ready to, and you haven't had the support that you would have hoped for. That's the question. Because Cheryl and I could see it, people love us. They're trying for you not to be hurt. But actually, from a working class background, people don't break the mold. Like, I remember growing up with my nan saying to me, just get a good job in the bank like your Auntie Julia. Get really good money. So you could see from their perspective, there's Cheryl and I giving up these golden handcuffs, smashing the golden handcuffs, deciding we want to make our own way in life. And I think they were really scared for us. It was from a place of fear, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it came from a positive place, but from a fear of you're going to lose your house.
Yeah.
Like you're going to lose your mortgage. You won't be able to pay your mortgage. You won't be able to pay your house. It was just coming from that.
Yeah.
I'm echoing again. I'm just going to try and...
I think the first thing for me on this as a learning point is don't share things before you're really ready to. Now, for Cheryl and I, that was quite difficult because granted, all of a sudden we weren't working in a business and I wasn't looking for jobs at the other end of the country anymore. And it was quite difficult for us to manage expectations in a discreet way because it was pretty much out there that we were doing our own business. But a lot of ladies, when they come to us, even about joining our programs, so joining a 6-month coaching program and investing in yourself in that way is something that most women who approach us from a corporate background or owning their own businesses haven't done before. So it's seen as a cost and expense. We see it as the best investment you're ever going to make. And often one of the first things is, I need to talk this through with my husband, or I need to talk through with my friends, or I need to, and it's like, we get that, but sometimes we have to remind the ladies that we're speaking to, are you really looking for permission for this decision, or are you standing in your power, really claiming what you want? And Cheryl and I were standing in our power, claiming what we wanted, and it would have been great to have had the support. But actually it didn't change the outcome. And where that's quite dangerous is if you're on quite shaky ground with something and you're not really owning your decision yet, and then you start canvassing opinion from everybody in your family and your friends, you're going to get a rainbow of opinions because people don't hold back, like, about anything, do they? Like, I've got friends that if you gain weight, they're like, oh, you've piled to be fond. like You've got these people in your life. So if you're inviting their opinion in, you've got to be really geared up to be able to deal with that. And that's hard if you're not steadfast in your decision making.
And particularly if you're not really connected to your purpose. Because if we could have listened to some of those comments that people gave us, and
oh my
if we
God,
were working alone and would listen to the comments, we probably wouldn't be where we are now. So
absolutely.
But Yvette's just saying, my family are the most supportive bunch, but sometimes they say things with love that really takes the wind out of my sails. Yeah.
And they don't mean to. And my family do that sometimes, and friends, they don't mean to. They're always looking to keep you safe, aren't they? That's predominantly their job. Like, as a parent, my job is to keep Caleb safe before it is to make him happy. So sometimes you do have conversations with people and you think it's not the conversation I'd like to have. I'd like to go, yay, but I feel like they need to warn you that you could get hurt, or, do you know what I mean? It's like preparing them. And I think we're so geared at doing that sometimes we don't really listen. We just see all the red flashing signals and think that we're helping by telling someone, actually, there's this side of it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think, if people aren't as emotionally aware of the impact of what they're going to say on someone, sometimes it comes across in quite a blunt way. And I think that we've all got people like that in our families and friendship circles, right? Like, we've got one friend who, you really got to be ready to hear her opinion if you ask her for it, because you're going to get it like 2 barrels. And so she's the one I'll always go to when I just don't want, when I don't want the flowery up, dressed up version of it, when I really need someone just to tell me how something is. Like, she's the person I'll ask for that. So, but you've got to be ready for it. So
absolutely.
Are you ready?
So I would say that our learnings from that, and we learned to just let those opinions just fall off us, because we were assured and we were trusting and knowing that what we were doing was the right thing. And it's just listening into people who have knowledge. That's one thing we learned. Like, if you haven't been a coach and you haven't been doing what we're doing, then that's the person we'll listen to who tells us the market's saturated, or coaches a 10 a penny. We'll listen to the people who have actually been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And if you haven't, we'll thank you for your opinion, but we won't take it on board.
Yeah. We proactively, literally the month we started, had a mission of finding people who were successful at doing what we wanted to do, and in a big way, because something in us told us that if we were going to set off on this which we were. The ship had sailed, it had already left the harbour. We pulled up the anchor, like that day, sat around the kitchen table, like, let's do this. And we did. That was one of the first things we did, wasn't it, Cheryl? Like, who out there is doing what we want to do, who is really successful? And the beautiful thing is, Cheryl always says, your brain will distort and delete to prove itself right. So we just focused on the bit that proved us right. We focused on people who were from Newcastle, who were now living in LA, who had, a fabulous life, who were having an impact on the world, who had a healthy income and a great brand. And we just focused on them. We didn't focus on the 95% of businesses that fail in the first year. Like, that for us there was no point focusing on them. We weren't that business. We wanted to focus on people who were successful, because I remember Cheryl always saying to me, as long as we can find one person that's done it, it's proof it's been done. Let's just follow them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yvette, why can't you just be happy with your lot? Why are you striving for more? And that is their story. So the people who love us attach their story and their insecurities to us and then give us that opinion. So it's just about recognizing that that's their story, that they want to be happy with their lot and don't want to strive for more. But for me, that's okay to do so.
Absolutely. And I remember that quote. I remember the Brené Brown one. Yvette's just mentioned it again around, so many people will have an opinion. So many people will have an opinion on what you're doing or what you want to do or what your mission is or the changes that you want to make, whether it's weight loss, a job, having a family, getting divorced, learning to drive when you're 80, like whatever it is, someone's going to have an opinion. And Brené Brown says in the Call to Courage video, you can see it on Netflix, is, unless you are in the arena, unless you are out there getting splattered with blood, fighting for what you want, your opinion doesn't count. You cannot not be in the arena and be smothering your opinion all over me. And that was really powerful for me. And when I looked around, the vast majority of people with this opinion were people that weren't doing what I wanted to do and what I wanted for us and Cheryl to do. So that made that a lot easier.
Absolutely. And when we were having a bit of a down day, or when we were thinking, is this the right thing, we went and then asked our cheerleaders. So we had like a number of different friends, people who supported us. I don't think I've ever turned around and said, shall we not do this? But when you just have one of those days where you're thinking, oh, is this right? Go and get the advice from the person who's cheerleading and supporting you on and knows what it is you're trying to do in the world. Somebody who understands you, rather than somebody who's coming from a place of fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And those people know who they are. And we would have a list. Like, I could show you my notebook from that year and I would write a list of cheerleaders. And whenever I was having, because I would have more negative days than Cheryl would, just because of our nature, where I'd think, are we doing the right thing? Like, are we, is this the right path? Are we doing enough? Are we where we should be at this point in the journey? All those things that in the first year of setting up your business, where Cheryl and I didn't know month to month sometimes where we were going to get the mortgage money from. Like, that was scary, right? So you people that were our cheerleaders in that time, you were hand selected. Like, that was no accident that we had you in our corner. That was a creative part of our process that it was deliberate and conscious on our behalf. And for anyone embarking on something new, have your cheerleader list. Tell them that you're going to call upon them, because it's so important that you have them at your beck and call. And the other thing that you need to do is invest in yourself and find a mentor. Yeah. Find someone who has done what you do, because it's human nature to try and work it out all yourself. And you can get there. Like, Cheryl and I could have sat there and worked out every single system, worked out which was the best email system, worked out which was the best team build system, which was the best way to connect with an audience and grow a community. But I just didn't see the point in that, and neither did Cheryl, when there's top coaches out there that had done what we've done. Did we? We were just like, why would you do that?
So I definitely Yvette, agree with what you're saying. Yeah. Because when you take advice of people who are in that place, they're just projecting their stuff onto you. Yes. But yeah, we went, we invested a lot of money into programs of people who were doing what we wanted to do, and still do. So we've done that every year. And the important tip about this is, though, when you're finding your groove and finding your purpose and who you want to be in whatever it is you're doing, it's important to model somebody who's successful, who's done it, and model what is good about what they do, and then add it to your current toolkit of whatever it is that you've got, not try to become them. So we could have watched a coach and then saw how they did it and then tried to be them. So it's important to understand the difference. It's we model and we get mentoring skills and we apply that to our authentic way and our authentic selves and just make that part of what we do, not completely change who we are to be like someone else, because that won't work.
It doesn't work. People can smell it. Like they can smell through that lack of authenticity, can't they? And it's easy to do in the early days because you're not 100% sure. But whatever you start out doing, it will change and develop and mold and grow. And remember, we said the other day, it's not about getting something perfect. That's not where self-confidence comes from. It won't be perfect at the outset. Like we laugh looking at some of the lives and the videos and stuff we did in the early days, but actually the mission of what we want to do hasn't changed. How we do that and how we've evolved and grown has changed, and so it should. We've learned a lot in 2 years, and that's massively then built our confidence of knowing how we can develop. But we mightn't have got to this point for 4 years had we not looked really closely at who we could use as mentors and coaches and role models in the industry of our choice, so that we could develop, because we just wanted to accelerate. Like we joined a group called The Accelerator because that was what we wanted to do. And we invested heavily in ourselves. That was our choice because failure wasn't an option. You know, we burned our bridges. Our mission was strong. We burned our bridges. We invested everything in ourselves because we figured, like, if we can't bet on ourselves, who can you bet on? So we invite you to really do that today. Like, you know, you don't wait for the confidence to do something. What is it in your life that you really, really desire change in? How can you do that? Who do you know that's doing that really well? Who could you ask for some support? Who could you get as a cheerleader? Who can you use as a friend or a peer to help spur you? You know, Claire's doing so amazing with her weight loss. Like she's totally changed her health goals in the last 6 months. So I'm using Claire, who's a client of ours and a friend, for help with that, because I'm like, yes, I've done it before, but she's doing it right now. So she's really inspiring and motivating me. So who is that in your life for the thing that you really want to do? And keep it to yourself until you feel confident enough to share it, and be open to that criticism by the time that you do.
Absolutely. And yes, Mel, it's about it's about looking at Brené, it's about looking at Mel, looking at your coaches, us two here, and seeing what we do and applying it to what you've already got, not changing who you are. So yes, so
go hard,
who's got
home.
your back? Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about what you do about the people who you're surrounded with who drag you down, the mood hoovers. We're going to be talking about that. And we've got another gift for you today. We love giving gifts. So our big goal creator that we designed at the beginning of the year, it's in there. It's got weekly, monthly, yearly goals, reflection document. It's a beautiful document. And now is the right time to start to review your progress because we're coming up to half year. So we'll drop the link in the comments. Download that if you haven't already. If you have downloaded it, please go back and review where you are, because we're halfway through the year. What is it that you want to do with your life for the next half of the year with all of this newfound confidence that you're getting from us? So we'll put it in the comments and you can, take a look.
Absolutely. It's got an amazing reflections document in there as well that you can use it for journaling, especially if you're new to journaling. You can do that weekly or monthly. So download that now if you haven't got it already. Share it with your friends, colleagues as well. Like it's free, so please make the most of it, guys. That's it for today.
Yes.
Donna Rachel TV, over and out. Join us tomorrow. Keeping it real. Join us tomorrow. Mood Hoovers. We'll be telling you how to deal with the negative clouds in your life. Can't wait. See you 12:30 tomorrow, guys. Have a good day.